All right. Well, I wanted to do a little tier list of all of the bicycles that I've owned, trip down memory lane, and some appreciation for the great steeds that I've had over the years. We'll start it off with the 2001 Specialized Hemi. This was the first real BMX race bike I remember having, and it was a really cool paint scheme, but that monocoque front triangle was very, very early 2000s. I think we're going to go ahead and put this in B tier. We'll move on to the 2008 Specialized Big Hit. This one was actually my dad's, but that pristine white, red, and black Haida art frame was as gorgeous as could be. Definitely one of the coolest paint jobs ever. Unfortunately, the bike was like 45 pounds plus, and the suspension was not so great. It was a bit of a lug, but still, I think has to be B tier, top B tier with that good looking a frame. The bike just wasn't that great. All right, we'll move on to the 2010 Intense Podium race version that I had. This thing was the bike that I wanted, and man, I'm sure lucky I had this thing. I had a 2008 Intense Sabo before then, which was actually a really great beginner bike. I remember these tires being super thin, like 1.5 inches wide. It was a Junior XL, so it makes sense. But still, this thing was so freaking cool. Had it painted pinstripe, white with some red accents, because I wanted it to look like the 2012 Intense Podium. But still, this thing was pretty freaking sweet. I think we're going to have a lot of B tiers in this list, but that's a good baseline. I've had a lot of great bikes. And again, I have another 2010 Intense Podium. This was built up as kind of a park bike, and it is not meant to be a park bike at all. Still just flat white for the paint scheme, but man, that was cool. I loved having this bike. I think this one's kind of going down. We'll keep it with the B tier, actually. Oh boy, I did not expect to get this one so quick into the list. This is the 2018 Gorilla Gravity Mega Trail, and I'm so torn on this thing. It's divisive because the bike rode honestly like crap, but it looked so dang gorgeous. I bought red RockShox Lyric lowers, red rear coils for this thing, had it totally paint matching, and man, it was just a gorgeous piece of machinery. It was a total piece of crap to ride, and in fact hindered my confidence level with going out trail riding. In fact, often, a lot of times, I would find excuses for my friends who invited me out to ride. And this thing, actually, the tires ended up rubbing against the frame. The wheel set was so bad. The flip chip between 150 and 165 mils of travel was so cool in theory, but I think it made that rear triangle just super flimsy. And even the 180 mil boost spacing fork on this thing couldn't save it. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to put this thing in the D tier. Only thing saving it from what would be an F tier that is non-existent is the paint scheme. Here is a very, very good bike, the one I got right after that Mega Trail. It's the 2020 Cannondale Montera E mountain bike, and man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back to acoustic trail bikes after this. This thing really renewed my confidence, renewed my desire to go out and ride trails. And yeah, 180 mils in the front, 160 in the rear, great battery life. I can just do laps all day on this thing, and it is so fun. It's 51 pounds, so of course you feel that, but man, you don't really feel that when you're doing a dump tail down a bike park lap. So I think this thing is going in A tier because I know I'll have e-mountain bikes after this, but what a wonderful foray into e-mountain bikes this thing was. And now we're going with the 2018 Trek Remedy 7 size large. Also kind of torn between this one. I don't have a lot of riding time on this one. I ended up giving it to my buddy Spencer, but man, that paint scheme is just something to behold. It's black with 2 variations of blue on it. Total Nightwing bike. It's a thing of beauty, but it also has a knock block on it, which prevents you from turning the bars more than 45 degrees, which is such a hindrance out on the trails. I'm not doing X-ups or anything on my bike, but even then you're hitting switchbacks and feeling very limited. Had a 1x11 1 to 11 to 42 chain ring on it. Fine dropper post, 160 mils in the front, 140 mils of travel in the rear. It's a good bike, but it's just being held up by that paint scheme. I don't think I can take it any higher than B tier though, and I think I'm gonna put it just ahead of that Specialized Hemi. Then we have a sore spot for me. This is the 2018 Santa Cruz 5010C sized XL that was stolen out of my garage, and I did not get enough time on this thing. It's 130 in the front, 120 in the rear, and it was a fine bike. It was sized properly, but it did kind of help me realize that I need a bigger bike to go as big as I do out on the trails, and a downcountry bike like this just doesn't quite hold up. My buddy Spencer actually previously had a 5010C that matched this one, just a different paint scheme and some different components. But, you know, it was a fun bike. It kind of just showed me I need a little bit something more, and I would have sold it, but got stolen from my garage. So, yeah, bummer there. Then we move on to the, let's see, I believe it's a 2016 Trek Session sized XL. And this thing falls right in line with that Trek Remedy, where it is a gorgeous paint scheme. I bought it for real cheap, didn't come with a fork, got a red lowers Marzocchi Z1 bomber on it, single crown fork, and it is just a thing of beauty. But it has a 437 mil reach for a size XL, which is just criminally short. Even hopping on this thing with a lot of stack on the steer tube, a riser stem and riser bars, it still felt claustrophobic in the cockpit of this thing. Tried it out with a 29-inch front wheel, didn't quite pull that off either. The looks are holding this thing up entirely, and despite me being more of a Nightwing fan, the Red Hood Batman Beyond black and red look of this, I think I'm gonna put it just ahead of that Remedy in B tier. And now we got the Cove Hooker 4-cross / slopestyle bike that I sold to my friend Clay. This thing was quite fun as well, but it's a bit on the heavy side. I bet it's between probably 32 to 35 pounds for a slopestyle bike. Very short. The suspension's a little bit older, not too old, but it's got this glow stick green paint scheme on it that's really cool. It's just it's been outshined by other slope styles / dirt jump bikes on this list, and it's a solid bike, but I think it's gonna go in C tier here. Then we have the 2016 Intense T275 XL bike. Wow, that's a mouthful. The paint scheme again is really beautiful. Intense does amazing paint schemes. The black and orange here looks great. It was 160 front, 150 in the rear, but for some reason this bike just felt super super twitchy, and not in a playful way, more of like, ooh, I'm not stable on this thing. It had the non-boost front fork, which I did not know made such a difference until I got a boost fork. You know, it's a great bike, but I think it's going to go kind of in the middle of C tier. All right, and then another sore spot, the 2020 Specialized Enduro sized S5. This thing was a thing of beauty. It had that oxblood red, kind of dark maroon, carbon main frame color, and then I put some custom made myself decals on it that were red. Really made this bike beautiful. And this is another one that got stolen from my garage. Size 29-inch wheels, 170 mils of travel front and rear. I think it was a 510 mil reach with riser stem and riser bars. The thing was too big for me, but that didn't stop it from feeling ridiculously light. I got this 1 year after it came out, and I was hooked on this thing. I probably would have needed something a little bit smaller in the future, but this thing was great. I'm putting it A tier. Then we go to the 2016 Specialized Enduro XL. And this thing was not the bike that I wanted it to be. I picked it up during the time that I had the black Santa Cruz Nomad as kind of a testing a different flavor of ice cream. And, you know, it wasn't that great of a bike. But what did really set this thing apart was this was my first boost front fork. 110 mil spacing up front. Holy crap, did that make a difference for me. Absolutely changed my riding, gave me a lot more confidence and stability. I traded out the forks, put it on my Nomad, and then sold this thing. It was an okay bike, but it opened up my eyes to the world of boost spacing. But the paint scheme, not as great as that Intense, so I'm going to put it behind that. Then we have the DK General Lee 2018 22-inch wheels, 22-inch top frame, top tube, and this one did not have the Confederate flag on it, thankfully. Never saw Dukes of Hazzard, but I always thought this was really cool how it paid homage to General Lee. I think I might end up putting it high A tier / S tier because you only really need 3 bikes as a person, a mountain bike, a jump bike, and a BMX bike. And I don't think I'm ever going to need another BMX bike apart from this one. So I think I'm going to put it top of A tier. Then we have the 2020 Santa Cruz Tallboy sized XL. And when I got there, I kind of knew this wasn't going to be the bike for me. 130 mils up front, 120 in the rear, 29-inch wheels. And thankfully, they painted over the horrible-looking banana peel yellow stock frame color that this comes in. But even then, they did a terrible job painting this thing. Looks like they just got spray paint from Lowe's and went to town. Not my kind of bike, not my flavor of bike, but I don't think it's as low as D tier. I'm just going to put it at the back of C. Then we've got the 2011 Dartmoor 2.6 Player. I had one bike that came after this that was just better. But this frame was still cool, and I ended up selling it to a BMX race friend who I ran into just this year, who still has the frame. So that was very cool, and it was a good bike. I miss my hardtails sometimes, flimsy brakes, but you know, it's a good bike. Minimal time on it though, so I'm putting it kind of at the back of C tier, but a little ahead of that Tallboy. And man, very, very OG BMX race bike here. We've got the 2002 Robinson Jr. Mini, and this is easily an A tier. I think I'm gonna put it kind of at the back of A tier. I rode this thing for a long dang time. The decals look great. The chrome is pristine, but it being a mini, I outgrew it very quickly, and probably rode it for a little bit longer than I wanted to, just because of how good it looked. That was an amazing first BMX race bike. Aside from that Hemi, super lucky on that one. All right, then we got the 2012 Santa Cruz Heckler sized medium. This was a bike that I bought with my dad. We both got matching bikes of this, and this thing was great. It had a Marzocchi bomber front fork, Marzocchi suspension in the rear, 3x drivetrain, which pretty dated. Narrow handlebars, no dropper post, but still, this thing was great. However, at 5'10", I very quickly outgrew this. My knees started hitting the handlebars when I would pedal, so outgrew it, of course, as I would. If it'd been a size large, I think I would have gotten some more mileage out of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that kind of, in the back, in the middle of B tier. Then we've got the 2005 Specialized Big Hit Grom. I think I'm throwing this in the B tier as well, a little bit ahead of that. Actually, I'm going to put it ahead of the race bikes. That thing showed me what it was like to have a really playful jump mountain bike. I definitely got some miles out of this thing, learned confidence, and learned a lot of things on this bike. My dad surprised me with it in the back trunk when I got it, and this thing was really cool. And outgrowed it like normal. It's a 24-inch bike, so of course I outgrew it soon, but good bike. Then we've got the 2010 Giant STP, and man, this thing is a bit of a lug. It's my Washington bike that my dad got for me for jumping out in Washington, but it feels really old. The cranks are very loose on it and haven't quite figured out how to fix those. The fork is like super spongy, very old. The brakes barely work and have made me crash on multiple occasions. It's a cool bike, but man, I thought I was going to put it in C tier, but I think I'm going to put it in the top of D tier. It's just it's a bike that shows its age. It has old parts and could use a refresh. Jump back into it. That Santa Cruz V10 Carbon 2013 sized XL. This thing is a beauty to look at, but man, it was a very short frame when I got it. I think it has 440 mil reach for a size XL, which I have no idea how 6'5" Steve Pete could get on that thing. Carbon rims, carbon front triangle, 8.5 or 10 inches of rear travel. So cool, but you know, in practice, I was always riding the 10 inches of rear travel. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful bike, but that geometry needed updating and it needed to be longer. So for that, I think I'm going to put it in the top of C tier because I have great memories. It looks beautiful, but needed to be bigger. And then easy freaking S tier, 2013 Santa Cruz Nomad Carbon, sized XL. That thing was just pristine. I was so happy getting it. It has that graphite gray and blue Nightwing color scheme, 26-inch wheels, 160 mil fork, 160 in the rear, dropper post. That was my first dropper. Had a 1x drivetrain, even though it was a 1x10, 11 to 36 tooth. Man, that suspension still today even holds up. It's just, it was the bike, and it's so playful. Even when I had that 110 mil stem on there, man, I still, if there was one bike that I no longer have that I could go back and ride, it would be this one, hands down. It's beautiful. It had matching decals. Man, just what a freaking bike. Missed this thing. Easy S tier. Then we've got the 2005 Santa Cruz Bullet. This thing was also a freaking treat. My dad bought it home for me, and it was Lamborghini yellow, and I was not a fan of yellow. And so we pinstripe red and main color blacked it, and it looked great. Uh, the travel was a little spongy even for 5 foot nothing me back then, and the tire would rub against the back of the seat. 3x drivetrain. It's ancient technology, but man, this thing was great. Really lucky to have had this bike. Cool paint scheme too. Got it signed by Steve Pete, so I think that bumps it up a little bit. I'm gonna put it in the middle of B tier, maybe just ahead of the Heckler. Then we've got the 2011 Santa Cruz Jackal, size large. Fun bike, total Franken bike though. And this thing was sweet. Had a cross-country 100 mil fork in the front with cross-country rims front and rear. Super tall riser bars with a very long riser stem. It is a miracle that I'm as good as a rider as I am today, having got away from those super brutal parts. But I paint penned it red, got a matching red Chromag seat, pedals, chainring, grips. It's just a thing of beauty. That's definite A tier. And I think I'm gonna put it in front of the Robinson. Then we've got the 2016 Santa Cruz Nomad CC sized XL. And it breaks my heart because I wanted this bike to be so good, but it just wasn't the bike I needed it to be. It was on 27.5 wheels for the first time. That was amazing. But the suspension, the Cane Creek DB coil in the rear was just so bad and such a step down from that 2013 Nomad. And that 27.5 160 mil fork up front. I didn't know it then, but that non-boost fork it did not give me the confidence I needed it to. I brought that thing to Whistler, lots of whips, lots of toboggans, lots of good times on that thing. The Yeti turquoise paint scheme, though, was not the biggest fan of it, especially not with those yellow decals. Immediately painted over that and put some different decals on. That suspension was just not what I needed it to be, and I don't think it's quite as low as D tier, but it's going like top of C tier because I used that thing for so long. I abused it, but better bikes ahead. Then we've got the 2011 Santa Cruz Nomad size large. And man, again, it was such a beautiful bike in that beautiful chrome. Had a gray variable suspension, 160 mil Fox fork up front. But that Marzocchi in the rear was terrible. The Fox Talus that I had no idea how to service up front was not that great either. No dropper post, 3x drivetrain. It was the first bike that I ever spent my own money on, $1,100, and I milked every single penny out of that thing. It's a thing of beauty, but it was pretty apparent by the time that I was done with it that I needed to get serious about finding something new. I think I'm gonna put that right behind the Heckler. Actually, I'm gonna put it a little bit above the Bullet because, man, that was the dream bike when I had it. Then we have the 2013 Scott Gambler sized XL. This thing got put through some punishment. I brutalized this bike, and it took all that punishment, but it was a big, beefy bike. I think it was like 39 pounds plus. Really good looking color, that highlighter green. It was pretty much stock until the day I sold it. But that thing was a bit of a lug. And Yeah, I think it was pretty clear that I would never need another downhill bike after I started getting to enduro, because aside from Trestle DH, you just don't really need a bike like this. But I'll put it in B tier, and I'll kind of put it. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it kind of top of C tier above that V10 because it was properly sized. And then this one, it was a Banshee Scythe size medium, but quickly was not the right size for me. 2012 Norco Aurum. Man, I almost feel like putting this in D tier too, but it's not. Oh, it might be top of D tier. Took this thing to Whistler. The shock was completely blown. Put this bike together from scratch, just the frame. It had proprietary parts, like a proprietary seat post clamp that was inside the frame. That was an absolute pill to try and find. Never rode the way that I wanted it to. It was a good looking frame, but I mean, that silver and red was done better on the Gorilla Gravity. And then we've got the 2012 Supercross Envy. Hardly rode this thing. I bought this as I was kind of getting out of BMX. I think this is going to go in C tier. It was a great bike, built it up with great parts. Maybe even B tier, because it would have been an amazing BMX race bike for my size. But I still just outgrew it, and I was kind of falling out of love with the sport. And I think I'm going to put it at the end of... No, it can't be higher than the Santa Cruz Nomad. So I think I'm going to put it in the middle of C tier. Well, that brings me to the 2014 Santa Cruz Nomad C, sized XL, in that Batmobile all murdered out black. It is easily one of the most beautiful bikes I've ever owned. I'm just so lucky to have owned this thing. This was just drool worthy for years, and I'm so lucky to have owned it. 160 mils in the front and 165 in the rear. However, I did steal the fork off of that Specialized Enduro with the boost spacing and 170 mil travel and put it on this thing, and it turned it into a completely new machine. Gave me so much confidence. I've hit banana peel on this thing, and man, some days I'm really upset that I got rid of it, but man, the silhouette of this thing, how it looked, is just, it was the bike. Easy S tier. And last but certainly not least is that beautiful 2014 Rocky Mountain Slayer Slopestyle. This is the easiest S tier, top of S tier I could ever dream of. No bike will ever come close to how great this has been for me. The perfect slopestyle bike, 27.5, 130 mil front fork with those Beach Cruiser white wall blue tires, always getting compliments on that. Perfect suspension, custom Santa Cruz Screaming Hand RockShox decals, RockShox Monarch in the rear, that pinstripe white Supercross BMX saddle, 35 mil rise, 730 mil cut bars. This is just the perfect bike. I will never have anything this amazing ever again in my life. And if somebody ever were to steal this bike, they would have to retitle the John Wick franchise to John Whip, because I would be committing some felonies to whoever stole this bike. It's just the perfect piece of machinery. I've gotten so much confidence from it. I've ridden all of my favorite jumps, trails, Washington, Whistler, Colorado, all across the US, and I've just loved this frame. I think this bike, hopefully it's going to stay with me forever. Beautiful blue and white paint scheme. It's not possible to get any better than this. And yeah, I think that's a great tier list setup. It's just amazing, and I'm so lucky to have owned all of these bikes.